Welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd film a little bit of a backstory, story time about my fitness journey and why I eat certain foods and like who I am within that realm. So let's throw it back to when I was 9 years old. When I was 9 years old, I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid. So that basically means that I was extremely overweight and I was really, really ill for maybe about a year, in and out of hospital, and I couldn't understand what was going on. My uncle actually told me that I had an underactive thyroid, which my gran and my nan and my granddad have. So it kind of runs in the family, it's hereditary. But my mum, it missed a generation, so it's just me who has it. And I was severely overweight as a child. So I was like, maybe when I was like, maybe 14, I was like maybe near enough 12 stone. I was overweight due to my thyroid and we couldn't understand why. Now, when I was like 10 and diagnosed, it took them about a year, I then realized that I couldn't eat certain foods. They really restrict me. From my memory, I couldn't eat grapes and oranges, and I don't know why, but ever since I was allowed them again, like 4 years later when I was 14, I was like, I don't really like oranges. Like, I eat them, I love fruit, but they aren't my preferred choice, but I love grapes. Anyway, so I kind of was I danced for about from the age of 3 to 18, and I was always like the bigger one, the bigger boned one, the slightly bigger one. So when I was like 14, 15, I was like size 12, 14. So I grew out of kids' clothes really, really quickly. And I then realized at 15, so I was year 11 in the UK. So that's like, I don't even know how it is in the other countries, but when I was 15, I decided that I kind of wanted to start weight loss or trying to reduce my weight. Now, this was all due to me. Like, my family have never, or my friends have never said to me, you were big at the time. Even when I tell people now, like, what size I was, they're like, you were what? And I'm like, yeah, no, like, that's what I was. And when I was like 16, I was a size 18. So that was the largest I was. And there's nothing wrong with being a size 18 at all. I just knew that because of my thyroid condition, I needed to kind of control my weight, because my doctor kept saying to me, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight, you need to lose weight. So it kind of got drawn into my head, okay, I need to start some type of weight loss. So at 16, 17, I was dancing still, and I decided that jogging was a good idea. And I used to live around a block, and I used to jog around the block, and I couldn't really see any weight going off. And prior to this, I wasn't selective with any foods I ate. I just, around 14, 15, I realized dairy didn't really sit with me, and I never really got tested, but I then realized I cut out dairy and I started having almond milk with my cereal specifically. And then at 18, I moved out and I went to uni, and obviously I stopped dancing the 30 to 40 hours a week I was dancing, and I then decided it was a good idea to go to dance society and try and go to the gym. Now, we got to second year uni, so we're talking 2017, 2017, September, I moved to India. And I went there for a placement year for university and things. And I started MMA training, so mixed martial arts, and this was specific kickboxing and circuit training. And I was doing this probably every 3 to 4 times a week. High and like intense. And this is someone that barely ever squats. So the summer before I went to India, I decided to start trying to go to the gym. Me and my friend used to go eat a mayo chicken before. No, they weren't the dates. I didn't eat a mayo chicken then. I ate a mayo chicken when I was in school. I stopped eating McDonald's then. And I used to just eat like Kinder Buenos, whatever. And then I went to India and I contracted E. coli. And it was the illest like I've ever been. Like, I was continually having cycles, continually in and out of hospital, and this lasted like 2 weeks. And at the time I could only eat kettle chips, ready salted, and I didn't understand why. I couldn't have water, I couldn't have anything else, but I literally had kettle chips ready salted. And that was the moment. I think it was October 2017. I was like, okay, I kind of want to make a change now. And I started taking foods, like being selective with foods and kind of understanding how foods made me feel. So I didn't really like eating bread and things like that, they weren't really essential for me, but like dark chocolate is definitely essential. And the reason why I started eating dark chocolate is because in India the milk chocolate was rank. It was disgusting. So I started eating dark. So then I slowly cut out all of dairy after I had E. coli. And I realized in India that it was a really life-changing moment for me, because a lot of everything there is fresh. So if you have a chicken nugget, it's going to be chicken and it's going to be breadcrumbs, and that's how it's going to be. And it opened my mind so much to the possibilities of food. I never understood why I ate or why I ate certain foods or how foods made me feel until I went to India, and I was like, okay, I got so ill to the point where I'd have to slowly reintroduce foods, and fruit and veg out there was so fresh. And I understood what quinoa was, what buckwheat was. It's alternatives to rice. Obviously, being Indian, we eat a lot of rice. It's just within our nature. And I realized then, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I can kind of understand why I eat certain foods. So I came back in January of that year. April of that year, I started with my personal trainer, who I'm still with, who is absolutely amazing. His name is Dan. And he made me learn about the gym. So he did my meal plan. He did my workout plan. He gave me a workout split, and I remember I threw it back to my first ever meal plan with him, and I think I started on like 1,300 calories, and to me now that's like nothing, but I used to have maybe 4 meals with him. And then when I went back to university to do final year, so September 2018, I went to 4 meals and snacks because I felt like I needed more, because my non-exercise activity thermogenesis and also studying, I felt like it was so high, like I needed a lot of food, when really now I've realised I should have just had an extra meal, but it's fine. And I consistently weight trained for about 2 years to this day, and I absolutely love weight training, like hypertrophy training. And then so all of final year, so between September 2018, no, sorry, get this wrong, September 2018 till July 2019, I was double training, overtraining. I was hypertrophy training in the morning and powerlifting in the evening. Now, I found like one of my closest friends at uni, and he's really into powerlifting, and I never understood what that was. How many times Dan told me, do not overtrain, and he used to come home and he used to be like, why are you training twice a day? But it was the only way my mental mind could relax. I could relax once it was all done. At the same time as powerlifting, hypertrophy, I did a lot of pole fitness, and I had the most amazing teacher, and his name is Paul, and he is fabulous. He is until I went to other pole schools, I never understood how blessed I was to have the girls around me. And there's like 2 that I'm really close to still, and they are such big gems. It wasn't even them, it was just the whole class, and we were so lucky to have each other. But yeah, going back onto my fitness journey, food journey, I cut out dairy and gluten strictly probably November 2018. November 2017, and I have been like that ever since. Now, being paleo or whole food diet is best described as you eat wholesome food, so nothing processed, and this includes meat, dairy, anything that the caveman could have eaten. In October 2017, I made the decision to cut out meat, but I only eat fish. So the reason why I do that is, in this country, in the UK, it is extremely difficult to be a vegan who is allergic to gluten. It is a way that I got told I was allergic to gluten and dairy while I was in India, and they were like, do you realize that you've got quite a high intolerance to them and allergy? When I have gluten, I just get really, really bloated, or I didn't realize that gravy had gluten in, and I passed out on the bathroom floor this Christmas, but it's fine. I did it out of my own choice. And dairy just makes me sick, makes me throw up. So for the last about 1.5 years we're coming up to, I have been paleo based or whole food based. The only thing I will eat that is semi-processed is oats in the morning, because obviously they're grounded down from a whole food source, but they are absolutely apart from that, my diet really consists of wholesome foods. And I realized while I was in India, I was like, okay, I really enjoy eating certain foods, and I never did not enjoy certain foods. And I didn't enjoy the whole processed and pasta, pizza. If I wanted to have pizza, I'd want to make it myself and to see what ingredients go in there. And then I started turning on my mind, and I was like, okay, right, if we go back to our kitchen cupboards and we look in the ingredients list, can we actually name all of them? Most of the time we don't even know what goes into our bodies. It's so important to understand what goes into our bodies so that you can understand what you like and don't like. And that brings me on to another point. I do supplement, and I have supplemented since I started training with my personal trainer Dan, but that is because I lack a lot in my diet, and they aren't used as supplements. They're used as like add-ons, like whatever I'm missing. And I wouldn't recommend anyone to go and spend loads and loads and loads of money on supplements, and that's a whole nother video. But my understanding of it is you need to make sure that you are eating a balanced diet, and they aid your diet, so they give you a little bit more than what you wouldn't have had before. Anyway, sidetrack. Back onto the fitness journey. So I moved quickly from a size, remember it really well, 18 to 16 really quickly, 16 to 12 quite quickly as well. So this probably took a space of 2 years. And then the 12 to the 10, I yo-yoed between a 12 and a 10 for like maybe about 8, 9, 10 months. And then I really started becoming stricter with my food. And now obviously I'm at a place where size doesn't matter. Some things I'm a 10, some things I'm a 4. Like, it really doesn't matter. It's how you feel in yourself. I stopped weighing myself probably about over a year ago now, because numbers became so important for me and I became so obsessive. So I made the decision, okay, we're just going to take photos. I'm just going to take photos of my body every week or every 2 weeks and see the changes through that. And I'm not joking you, photos are the best way to record whatever journey you're going on. Obviously, we're at a time where it's not the easiest to go to a gym. You know, we have to all improvise. At the moment, I've been doing HIIT, and now I've just got some dumbbells. I'm going to do some dumbbell work. But it's all about making use of what you have, understanding what your body needs and what you like. So many of my friends say they just eat for the sake of eating, just to stay alive. And I was like that. I was like that for so long. And it really upsets me that I had no understanding of why we ate certain foods and to enjoy food. I used to just be like, oh yeah, I'll eat whatever. But now I have, it is very limited with what I eat, but I actually really enjoy what I eat, and that's what's important. I sit there and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I like sweet potatoes over potatoes. I will only eat sweet potatoes now because I enjoy the way they make my body feel. I really like butternut squash. I'm not the biggest fan of chicken because that's another story. But in India, you know, it kind of made me realize I prefer eating fish. And if I was out, I was picking fish options anyway. And the only piece of dairy is obviously eggs that I do eat, but I don't have milk. I can't have cheese. I can't have anything like that. So my journey is still ongoing. I'm still not 100% perfect with tweaks in my body, but unless you've been in that situation, you won't understand the feeling. And there's a lot of hidden